The Leica SL3 is a spare no-expense tool for both stills and motion. A full-frame mirrorless camera utilizing Leica's L mount, it comes with a massive 60 megapixel backside illuminated sensor. Supporting this sensor and allowing for hybrid phase and contrast detection autofocus is Leica's new Maestro 4 processor. This also allows the SL3 to shoot up to 8K 10-bit video with subject detection autofocusing and internal image stabilization. This, together with the all-metal fit and finish Leica is known for, gives the SL3 a design and philosophy that stands out from other cameras. Recently, here at Crutchfield, we had a chance to use the SL3 for a couple of weeks shooting both stills and video. This is what we thought of the experience. So Ned, you had the SL3 for a couple of weeks, and then I had the SL3 for a couple of weeks, and you shot mainly stills with it.
Yes, I did.
First impressions, how'd you like it?
Well, I love shooting with it. Whenever I am considering and assessing cameras, I tend to want to use them like I would have used a film camera. With this one, I really wanted to set it and forget it because unlike a lot of other modern digital Leica cameras, it's not really like when you look down from the top, you don't see a bunch of numbers on any of the dials, or the lens that I was using, it was just black, right? So you can program it very easily, right? You can make it any of the dials do what you want in the control ring to do things that you want it to do. But for my purposes, I wanted to let go for a while. I mostly took stills of like sculptures in my yard, and I love framing it up in a way that I'm like, I don't have to do anything to this image. My view of it was perfect just going in. I framed it up perfectly. But there's some cases where it's like you want to go ahead and zoom in and you want to crop, and that's where the resolution on this was just so impressive. Concrete sculptures, you can just go in and see every grain that's in the concrete. Plants, taking images of plants, you can just see grains of pollen on the pistils of the flowers and stuff like that. That's what I got into using this camera.
This is my first, and I was
Leica, yeah,
digital Leica, yeah.
Have you shot on film Leicas before?
Yeah, I have an M3 at home, and I've shot on an M6.
Right.
Not a ton, but enough.
But you see where I'm saying that they're not. It's kind of apples and oranges. It's not like going into the M world at all.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
I loved the simplicity of this.
Yep.
How, because you can customize everything and it has buttons everywhere, but they're not labeled, which is nice. There's a learning curve there.
Yeah. And
you can do everything, but I kind of choose to shoot the same way you did, where I'm like, I'm going to change a couple of settings that I know I want in terms of like
ISO,
that sort of stuff, but also like I want to shoot video in log, and I want to shoot it at this frame rate and this resolution. But beyond that, it's like let's have the autofocus kind of do everything, and let's see how just it falls to hand ergonomically.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. It's big.
It's big. It's heavy.
It's heavy.
I mean, it's lighter than the SL2.
Yeah.
So that's saying something, but it's not a compact camera. It's a bulletproof professional grade camera,
And it feels, it feels every ounce of its weight, both in terms of heft, but also in solidarity. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could chuck this thing down a football field and it would be totally.
Yeah, it does feel kind of bulletproof. Yeah.
Yeah. Was the experience of shooting with it bulletproof?
I did find that sometimes, that it would not do what I wanted it. It wouldn't find what I wanted it to focus on. And I wasn't really in the mood for pulling out that screen and touching what I wanted to focus on. I was just sort of moving, and I was keeping my eye to the viewfinder. So I would say not bulletproof, but it was so easy that it was kind of a, throw it against the wall and see what sticks kind of thing for me.
The first time I took a photo into Lightroom,
Yeah.
and 1-to-1, I was like, you're so far in, you almost can't tell what you've taken a picture of.
Yeah.
So the cropping that allows is fantastic if you're somebody that likes to crop and find sort of new compositions after the fact.
Yeah.
The same sort of thing is happening with the SL3 on the video side too, because it can film up to 8K resolution.
Yeah.
In 10-bit and 4K at 10-bit, which is great for pushing and pulling in post. I mean, the video has that great Leica look too, and it can shoot and log, and then Leica has LUTs for it to come back to 709. So if you want just a sort of right out of the camera look, they've got you covered. If you want to push and pull it and play with it, the footage is fairly elastic. And the 8K, again, you can crop it to 4K, and I mean, 50% crop, and it plays just fine.
Okay.
So I shot a lot of sort of like backyard games and things of that nature. And I wanted to use my time with it sort of the same way you were getting on about, where I could have come into the studio and rigged it up with a million different things and shot very controlled and lit things. I'm sure there are people that will do that with this camera. I don't know if that's what most people will do. So I just wanted to kind of handhold it with the built-in screen.
So did you use the screen much for framing up shots?
I used the screen more than I used the viewfinder, because I wanted to be able to tap to focus.
Right.
It has all the usual focus modes, but also has subject detect, person detect, eye detect, which it can do very well. It pretty much immediately will figure out where a person's face is and then where their eyes are. For me, in video mode, a lot of the times it would put circles around it, but it was just completely out of focus and couldn't get there.
Right.
And I don't know whether that was the lens. We were on the 35 Summicron.
Yep.
Or the camera or communication between them. And so that, for quick run and gun stuff, right? You're catching people throwing a baseball in a backyard. Like, that was a challenge sometimes.
A challenge to get good video where the focus stayed where you wanted it. Yeah. An old friend came to visit, and we have a swimming pool, and he jumped in, and I was like, had the camera, and I thought, let me take some pictures. It really did those well. It really, just like a chance moment, and I happened to have the camera, and it wasn't on my agenda to even shoot that day, and I was like, okay, let me just pick this up and see what it'll bring me. And it's just, maybe it's that Leica look, when I was shooting on film, I always, on the M1 or M3, I would always love how it turned out. It had something to do with the film, of course, but there's something to do with just the lens and the glass that they use. It just makes people look good. If someone is taking portraiture, I think it might be like a sort of a primo choice for portraiture.
I think it might be the best looking menu system I've ever seen on a camera.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
It's responsive to touch, it doesn't lag, and it's really customizable.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was in page 47 of a submenu like some other manufacturers can.
Sure, yeah, I was working with another camera a few weeks after this, and I was missing the easier interface, menu interface. That's true, for sure.
This feels, when you hold it and you use it, it feels purposeful. It feels like it was designed for one thing, and that's to make great images. And I know that sounds a little ridiculous in sort of a look back at a camera, like, well, aren't other manufacturers doing the same thing? And they feel more computerish, other brands do. And this, even though it is, I mean, it's a computer that you can stick lenses onto.
Sure.
And it's incredibly capable. And it's, I wouldn't say it's necessarily lacking any feature set that other digital cameras have, but it wraps all that in a user experience that is so distilled and pure that I think if you like that, there's a lot of joy to be found in using it that way.
Yeah, it's funny. I was traveling recently and saw influencers on the street, or Instagram influencers on the street, setting up shots and doing their thing. And it's, I know that there's a whole world of places where you can sort of choose certain looks for your phone or other digital camera to achieve. And this is kind of like, this is what they're trying to emulate. This is one of the best looks you can get. And it's not like choosing something from a menu. This is just at its most basic level. So often it's just your effort is minimal, and the camera, what the camera does for you is make it look great. And I like that.
I would view this camera as, this is a decade camera.
Yeah.
You're gonna have it and use it for
Easy.
that long.
Easy. Yeah.
And that's like the minimum.
Yeah.
2-decade camera, like, we're talking that level of future-proofness, durability, and it's hand assembled in Germany.
Yeah.
It's something that Leica's gonna stand behind.
You can feel that when
really
you put the
can.
lens on and you snap it into position. It's just everything, just all mechanical stuff on it. It's just a pleasure to use that way.
Nothing rattles.
Nothing rattles.
The doors close with a ka-chunk.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes, precision German engineering.
Yeah.
and build.
So I'd agree with you. I think there are a lot of professional uses for it, and I think that if you are somebody with the means and you are interested in a Leica camera, a real ultra premium sort of experience.
What would your regrets be? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're in that headspace where you're going to buy one of these, I think you're going to be happy.